Things just took a turn for the worse as a young outfielder for the New York Yankees is not looking great in Winter League ball, and this is a cause for concern within the Yankees organization that may lead to a trade and a new home for this once promising player in 2026. We'll break all of this down here on another edition of Yankees Digest. What's going on, guys? Alex Brooks back here on Yankees Digest to dive deep into all of this offseason news and get you ready for all of the moves and the winter meetings that are coming up in December. But before we get into this video, we're currently at 9,964 subscribers on this channel. We're on the road to 10,000 subscribers on Yankees Digest. So if you're tuning into this video, if you're tuning into this channel and you want to join a great group of Yankees fans, you better hit that subscribe button, comment down below. Let me know your thoughts on the New York Yankees. But getting right into this episode as we talk about Jasson Dominguez, and this is something for the New York Yankees right now. With Jasson Dominguez, they're kind of at a standstill. They are looking for an outfielder, multiple outfielders in 2026. They obviously got Trent Grisham on the qualifying offer, so he will return to the center field position for the New York Yankees. They obviously have Aaron Judge, and they also have Jasson Dominguez. But the thing is about Jasson Dominguez, I did an episode on him a week ago surrounding him going into Winter League ball and trying to get more experience, just more at-bats in competitive environments. So I feel like with Jasson Dominguez, he had a good decision there to go into Winter League ball and get some more at-bats. But right now, it's not looking good for Jasson Dominguez to be a starter in the New York Yankees outfield in 2026 because this Winter League ball has not been good for him, according to Christy Ackert of the Sporting News, saying through 9 games with Leonis del Esquido, Dominguez is 6 for 35 with 3 doubles, 3 RBIs, 4 walks, 9 strikeouts, and 2 steals, showing flashes of impact, but not the kind of production that forces its way into the Yankees' winter plans. And, going 6 for 35 with 3 doubles, 3 RBIs, and 9 strikeouts is just not going to look good for the New York Yankees to try to give him an outfield spot in 2026. And yes, I botched that pronunciation of the Winter League. I apologize in advance. But regarding Jasson Dominguez and what he was able to, do in this Winter League, he just hasn't shown it. He hasn't shown that he can adjust to any sort of, pitcher when it comes to out of the minor leagues. And I think right now when you're looking at Jasson Dominguez, it's not going to be in the outfield because he doesn't provide a lot of things in the outfield as well, because there's been skepticism around his defense, and rightfully so, because he was brought up to be a center fielder for the New York Yankees, and they put him in left field because they already had a guy like Trent Grisham. They had Aaron Judge in 2024 being out in center field with Juan Soto and right, so they didn't really have a lane for Jasson Dominguez, and right now they're trying to get Cody Bellinger back in New York. They also are trying to get Kyle Tucker, so whatever way that goes. So whether they get Tucker or they get Bellinger, it's not going to have a clear lane for Jasson Dominguez to start because the designated hitter is going to be Giancarlo Stanton, and with Jasson Dominguez right now, there's just not a really clear lane, and it's very unfortunate for someone who is a 257 batting average last year. He had 98 hits, 10 home runs in 47 RBIs. Didn't have a lot of playing time for the New York Yankees because obviously they were going with Cody Bellinger, Trent Grisham, and Aaron Judge in the outfield, but he did show some flashes. He definitely showed some flashes, especially leading off, because he can get on base, he can steal bases, but I think just at a, overall 162 game season, he hasn't been able to adjust to major league pitching just yet. And the thing is, he's going to be 23 years old. So he is still very young, and he still is very raw as a player and as a young player in this league. So there's definitely a lot of room for improvement. But the thing is about the major leagues right now, there's not a lot of years for the New York Yankees right now to just go on potential. They want results. And I think right now with Aaron Judge aging, Gerrit Cole aging, I've said it before and I'll say it again, this is the window for the New York Yankees to really go and try to get a championship. And if they're relying on someone in the outfield who's already a liability on defense and hasn't really been able to adjust to major league pitching or in winter league pitching, I think it's just not going to create a good scenario for him to start in 2026. Looking at his stats from 2023 all the way to 2025, he was able to improve a little bit just with the power numbers because he had a lot more games, 10 home runs and 47 RBIs, as I said in the other graphic, 257 batting average. But you look at the strikeouts, 115 strikeouts in 123 games. Not what you want to see from someone who is supposed to be a really, one of the better young hitters in all of MLB. So I think there's definitely going to be something for Jasson Dominguez at this point. And I think what you're going to look at right now is Brian Cashman. What is he going to look at with Jasson Dominguez? Because we've seen throughout, his career, 2024 and 2025. I know he had, struggled with some injuries in 2024, but he hasn't been trusted in the playoffs. I think that's something that was wild to see because when the Yankees were struggling in the batter's box, they weren't going with other players. And I think or they were going with other players, but they weren't going with Jasson Dominguez. And I think that's something where it's like, well, why have him on the roster if you're not going to utilize him? And I think that's something where they were like, we didn't want to have him in the outfield, maybe just thought he wasn't ready for the playoffs. And I think that's kind of, selfish on the Yankees' part. I definitely think they should have, put him out there, especially having him as that pinch hit double that he had in game 4 that really didn't matter. But otherwise, it just seemed like Jasson Dominguez just wasn't, he's not getting the lane to start. He's not getting the lane for this New York Yankees team. It's a shame, but you got to put up the results. And this winter league has not shown good things for Jasson Dominguez. And a little bit more on Jasson Dominguez. This was from Brian Murphy of MLB.com, talking about Jasson Dominguez a little bit more, saying still just 22 years old, Dominguez obviously possesses gobs of potential. If the team can't work out a deal for Bellinger or Tucker, or if it believes top outfield prospect Spencer Jones isn't quite ready, Dominguez might get another shot at extended playing time. But if the Yankees do make another outfield addition, they could do something that would have seemed unfathomable not too long ago and decide to trade Dominguez to upgrade the roster elsewhere. And I think this is leaning into, what I kind of want to talk a little bit more about is 4 players I'd trade Jasson Dominguez for, because the Yankees are adding Tucker or Bellinger, or if they feel Spencer Jones is ready, they are going to have a 5th outfielder, and that was a problem last year. They're going to have to get rid of someone, and I think that's definitely going to be Jasson Dominguez. And I think right here, when you're looking at this, 4 players I'd trade Jasson Dominguez for. This isn't in order of who I want, most to least. This is just 4 players that, just came off the top of my head that I would want that Jasson Dominguez, if these guys were available, Jasson Dominguez would be in that trade package. Corey Seager, I've mentioned it before on a video talking about how he possesses, great skills with the bat. He has postseason experience. He has big time experience in the LA market. He has been on the Texas Rangers, but his contract's a little big right now. So I think the Yankees would have to offset a little bit of that money. But getting Corey Seager to back up Aaron Judge just to have him a little bit of protection, I think is huge. And him being a prominent bat is just something that you would want in the Yankees lineup, as well as the Yankees defense. Fernando Tatis, this would make this lineup a juggernaut if we had Fernando Tatis on this Yankees team. Adds another righty to this Yankees lineup that's very lefty heavy. So I think when you're looking at a righty like Fernando Tatis, you can definitely have him in this lineup, and he would just provide so much good things to this New York Yankees team. There was obviously rumors that Fernando Tatis would be available. That's definitely going to be looked at this offseason. But if Fernando Tatis is available, Jasson Dominguez is going to go in that trade package no matter what. Tarek Skubal, I obviously know he's the back-to-back Cy Young Award winner, Triple Crown winner from pitching. He is the standard of American League pitching at this moment in time, maybe even just Major League pitching at this moment in time. Tarek Skubal, definitely Jasson Dominguez would be in that package. The rotation would be a juggernaut. So if you're going to Fernando Tatis, that would be a lineup. If you're looking at the rotation, the Tarek Skubal addition would make this rotation one of the best in MLB history, just by, on paper. And when you're looking at Steven Kwan, a leadoff hitter, it would make these leadoff struggles disappear. You got a guy who can play in the center field, you can play in left field, and in right field. So he has versatility in the outfield, and he's also a really good leadoff hitter that would just set up the table for your big playmakers like Aaron Judge, like Jazz Chisholm, Ben Rice, Giancarlo Stanton, all of those guys. So when you're looking at all four of these guys, Jasson Dominguez would definitely be in the package for all of them, and I definitely think you would get a lot more value out of four of these guys than you would with Jasson Dominguez, especially in 2026. So I definitely think that with four of these players right now, I think that when you're looking at Jasson Dominguez and looking at just the percentages of if he would get traded, if he would not get traded, at this point right now, I definitely think it's a toss-up, because if you're getting Kyle Tucker or Cody Bellinger in a New York Yankees uniform, you don't have room for Jasson Dominguez. And with Spencer Jones banging at the door in minor leagues, definitely think there's going to have to be some sort of move made for the New York Yankees young outfielder. But that's going to do it for another edition of Yankees Digest. Wanted to raise the question to you guys, as I always do on Yankees Digest. Would you consider trading Jasson Dominguez? Type Y for yes and type N for no. Want to know your thoughts on the consideration of Jasson Dominguez getting traded from the New York Yankees. Hope you guys have a great rest of your day. We're going to have more coverage here in the month of December because winter meetings is coming, and a lot of moves are going to be made across the MLB and the New York Yankees. Hope you guys have a great rest of your day. And as always, let's go Yankees.